Our deal of the year is here. Between Black Friday, starting on Black Friday, between then and December 4th, you can subscribe to The Athletic for just $1 a month. Get all access to exclusive sports stories, unrivaled local coverage, and in-depth analysis, all for only $1 a month for your first 12 months. If you've been thinking about subscribing to The Athletic, if you are a listener to this podcast and you are not yet a subscriber to The Athletic, A, how dare you? B, honestly, well played, because you waited until the perfect time. And if you act fast, again, starting on Friday, between then and December 4th, you can head to theathletic.com/birdswithfriends to sign up. Offer is for new subscribers only. All of The Athletic all year long, just $1 a month for 12 months. Cancel anytime. Better sports coverage, best deal of the year. Again, for new subscribers only. Subscribe now and save. Now is the time to take advantage of getting your subscription for only $1 a month all year long to see for yourself the creativity, reporting, and storytelling that sets The Athletic apart. And if you go to theathletic.com/birdswithfriends, you can receive an all-access subscription for just $1 a month for all 12 months. Get unrivaled sports coverage for an unbeatable price. And I'll give you a little bit of how the sausage is made here. If you go to theathletic.com/birdswithfriends and subscribe there, well, you're giving all three of your humble hosts a bit of a boost there. Now, if you don't want to give all of us a boost, you want to just pick your favorite, you could do something else. You could Google Bo Wolf, Penn Baseball, Scafidi, and you could subscribe through that story. If you want to just give Zach credit, you could Google Zach Berman, Vinnie Curry Shoes, and then you could subscribe there. If you want to just give Shield credit, you could Google Bo Wolf, Marcus Epps, Mike Epps, Omar Epps. So, yeah, all good stuff that you can do. Once again, go to theathletic.com/birdswithfriends, receive an all-access subscription for just $1 a month. We hope to see you there.
To your mother, it's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just a trio of feathery brethren, weathering any season to see the Eagles eat teams like Scrammy's topped with cheese. It's Philadelphia, Bo, Sheila, and Zach kicking it. Cooler than 3 penguins till Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some Birds with Friends. The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some Birds with Friends. Bo, Sheila, and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping their wings on.
Do you think Jack Del Rio's not going to go to the bar and get a drink and then come back and run his meeting? Give me a break.
I can't speak what Jack Del Rio's going to do, but what I can tell you is
Marissa,
is that,
let's make that the drop.
But what I can tell you is
a well-chosen drop by Marissa. And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Thanksgiving Eve edition of Birds with Friends, a supersized edition, a 2-for-1. Bo Wolf here, Zach Berman and Sheil Kapadia there. Sheil is hanging out at the bar. Marissa's running the 1s and 2s. And Sheil, everybody wants to know how you're doing, but I did want to ask you, we know about your long, acrimonious history with Bill Polian. I'm curious, given how well the NFL has been handling all of these COVID situations, if you wanted to take this opportunity to publicly apologize to a man who's on that committee.
I mean, I know nothing about that. I followed his role in this through your tweets. As always, I understand about 1 out of every 7 of your tweets. Like most of the time, I legitimately have no idea what you're talking about. That's not an act. I don't ask you. You don't tell me. I just say, all right, Bo's got a beef with this person. All right, I don't understand these words. I don't know who this person is. And I move on. So
right?
I can't say I have much to say there.
Okay, well then, Zach, I will ask you.
What is your name, Connor? I just saw Connor Hughes's. Well, I didn't see the full thing.
I just saw. I noticed
Connor Hughes's trainer.
Yes, I saw on Twitter that he was making Marissa's Jets podcast late because he had to run to the gym. So, figured I'd teach him a couple lessons.
I took a picture of it and sent it to him already. I was dying.
That's good. Zach, you are, an award-winning beat writer. We know you are the best in the business. I'm curious if you wanted to take this opportunity to come clean and say that it was, in fact, one of us or one of your former colleagues who was actually writing your training camp practice observations.
Once again, I don't think our listeners are fully understand the joke here. You guys can go on the Twitter. I'm staying out of that one. I'm excited for this podcast. I appreciated the introduction, although a quick correction. By all means, go back and read that Vinny Kerr story if you would like. But if you subscribe to one of my stories, subscribe to one in 2020 because you don't get 2019 credit. So Google Zach Berman Miracle at the Meadowlands or something like that because the 2019 stories.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I would love if you guys read the 2019 stories, but we don't get the subscription credit for those.
Now, the listeners do want to know, Zach, what happened to your wallpaper? They're looking for the athletic wallpaper. They don't,
I thought tonight I would pull back I don't want to call it the original backdrop because we've only been doing this for a few months here. But no, I went to the athletic backdrop because I needed to be corresponding on the computer with my editor. I don't need to do that tonight. So I don't need the computer like within arm's reach of me here. So that's why I went back to this backdrop. I thought it would look better, but I can.
It's nice to have your undivided attention for once.
Yeah, but if you want, just for a minute, I can put this one on just for the branding necessary. Go to the Athletic. You heard Bo's advertisement for the deal. Definitely do that.
Now, Sheil, you've got your bar background. Were you, generally speaking, go hang out with the townies on the night before Thanksgiving, see your old high school acquaintances?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's a great time.
Okay.
Did it every year. Or it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I'm festive here.
You
We're getting loose.
You get the the awkward conversation with the person you haven't seen in like 10 years. Like, what do you do now? How are the kids? Or
not
are you
really.
sticking with the good friends of yours?
Yeah, no, I had a good high school experience. You've met some.
You've got your crew, yeah.
Yeah, some of my friends you've met are from high school or middle school or kindergarten or elementary school. So I find a few people I like and I stick around them. So I just usually you stick in that circle. Now you go to the bathroom, you go somewhere else, you might have the awkward run-in, but that's okay.
Have you? Here's a good question. I'll take a whiff. Have you at any point on a Thanksgiving Eve run into that former tennis doubles partner of yours who you did not like?
No, I don't think there was a former. I think you got the story wrong there, but we're not going to get into all
Didn't you have a doubles partner you didn't like?
No, that wasn't it. There was a story about that, but I'm not going to retell that one. The diehards will know what it is.
I don't remember it.
Zach, listen, we have like.
By the way, we haven't even mentioned that the Eagles are playing the Seahawks yet. Like,
we got a lot to get to.
We don't know who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah,
we got a lot to get to.
Yet.
This is a 2-for-1 show. We've got the Bird on the Street and the Squall 22 coming up, and then we'll pivot to next Monday's game. We'll have the Curl Thine Enemy Swooper Storecasting, and of course, those of you in the live chat, drop your Swooper Storecasting suggestions for Marissa. And we'll close with the Crystal Bald Eagle. Zach, but you said you did enjoy it. I feel like you're a guy who likes to enjoy the small talk. You like to network.
You're referring to Thanksgiving Eve here?
Yeah.
Well, when I was in college, I enjoyed like seeing my high school friends. Yeah, you're away for college. It's your first time back.
You share an insomnia cookie.
Well, I did that. No, I didn't bring insomnia cookies home, but it was something that, in my time in college, I enjoyed coming back on Thanksgiving Eve and seeing my high school friends. Since it's not like in my post-college years, it's not something I really did, especially once I was married. It wasn't something that I've done in a while. So
off the market.
What
are you guys
Let's
cooking
go.
up tomorrow?
Come on. You're up to a very slow start. I'll take over. All right.
All right. Okay. We can send it over to the Stone Cold Newsman. But before we do that, we've got some fresh audio. So before we bring in the Stone Cold Newsman, let's hear what the Eagles head coach Doug Peterson had to say today with a resounding what's the word I'm looking for?
Why don't you just play the clip?
What's the word?
Endorsement.
I've seen as a coach,
vote of confidence,
is that the tough decisions have to be made in this business. Whether it's a tough decision to move on from a player in the off season, or to the decision now to whether you're going to make the move at quarterback or not. I mean, these are all decisions that have to be made by me. And but for the most part, I just I focus on the players. I focus on getting better each day.
Go ahead, Tim, and then Bo.
You're not making that move, right, Doug, to a different quarterback?
Not today on Wednesday, no.
Okay, possibly for Monday?
I'm focused right now on getting better today. I mean,
Okay.
we're looking. I don't know. I mean, I would say no.
Carson's your starter for Monday?
Yes.
First of all, dynamite in and out by Marissa on that little swoosh. Zach, what did you make of that just jumble of an answer from Doug Peterson?
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't think Doug did a very good job there. Frankly, it created more confusion than was necessary. And we should say that at the end of the press conference, he was given the lifeboat again, basically saying like, this is going to get blown out of proportion. Do you want to clarify? And he's like, you guys run with whatever you want. Carson Wentz is my quarterback. But he didn't say that the first time. So it's not a matter of anyone running with anything. It's like he created that confusion. I think Doug was he gets caught up in like the gamesmanship component of it. He tries to be more clandestine. Is it clandestine or clandestine? It's clandestine, right?
I think both work.
Okay. Tomato.
I think both are acceptable.
Yes.
It's all the minutiae of the spoken word, I would say.
Dynamite dropping, Shield. Yeah, so he tries to be clandestine about it, and I think that's what he initially was doing. And then he might have realized like how ridiculous it was when it's like the old Chip Kelly thing where Chip Kelly used to be like, well, we haven't had the Saturday practice yet, so we don't know if he's going to get to the game, right? I think that Doug was trying a little gamesmanship there. If he is making a quarterback change, that would be the most clumsy way to bench your starting quarterback and go with the rookie. There'd be 99 ways like to do it before you get to that one.
So you're
to ditch him ain't one. Go ahead.
So you're saying there's nothing to it. It was just a clumsy moment. There's nothing to be drawn from this about Jalen Hurts replacing Carson Wentz, about them having discussions about pulling Carson Wentz if he plays poorly. It was just Doug sort of
It was very bizarre
in a really weird way, which we have seen before, to be fair, and nothing's come of it. So Zach, is that your stance on it, or is there anything more to it?
No, that's my stance, is that they're not making a quarterback change this week and he was trying gamesmanship. The only other I don't want to say plausible because it's more speculative, is that there's like a push to make a quarterback change and he's resisting.
By whom?
And well, that's a good question.
Okay. Well, what's interesting about that is before Tim asked his question, we kept it in there because he brings it up unprompted and says, like, these difficult decisions that a coach has to make, like, do we get rid of guys in the offseason, or, do I make a quarterback change? Nobody asked him about that. He brought that up and he was saying, it's my decision and mine alone, which again is maybe a little bit doth protest too much. I thought that was very weird. And I did enjoy Tim's, there's a pause after Doug answers. He's like, wait a second, what did he just say? He's like, well, what about Monday? It was a very funny.
She was so proud when you mentioned that.
Well, I was going to say, that's great reporting. He's listening to what the coach is saying and saying, well, that sounds a little bit odd. You got to react quickly. He probably had a different question planned. He pivoted. So, a lesson for, all journalists out there. The truth says, T-Max okay was hilarious, which I think that's what Bo was talking about. He goes okay. I know. So Bo, do you agree that it was clumsy, or do you think there is anything?
I don't think that it was much ado about nothing. I don't think that there's nothing to it. There's something going on. Maybe it's just because like all the prep for the interview was about he's going to be asked about the quarterback situation, so he brought it up. But the way that he responded to Tim's question, like, not today, very weird. I don't know that, like, I'm not going to say that they're gonna bench him this week, but I feel like this was a different line of answering than we've heard from him in the past on this subject.
It's very weird because this is not a difficult question. Like if
No.
somebody, is trying to trap you or
Right.
get you to say something, they could do that. I mean, if anything, that might be the easiest question anybody could ask.
There was a good,
And
there
it's
was a good,
literally
sort
like
of-
it's probably the question that he was prepped on the most, right? Like
exactly.
it'd be one thing if someone asked this like week 2 and he wasn't expecting it, but like you have to go into the press conference knowing that could be asked, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was asked after the game. I mean, all
Exactly.
you say is, as I told you guys after the game, Carson's my quarterback. We're going to get better. Right. We got a big game coming up. Whatever. But it was very strange, if nothing else. And now then it leads to, Zach, what was Carson's Wentz's press conference like after that?
Yeah. So Carson was asked by Tim McManus again. Great job by Tim.
Doing everyone's job for him.
Well, actually, no. So first he was asked by Jeff McClain about Doug's comments. And he said, he's preparing like he always does, so on and so forth.
But what's up with this thing that now, like Doug and Carson have both said about how, well, Philadelphia's a little different. Like it's all on the quarterback and the head coach in Philadelphia. Give me a break.
So pathetic. I'm so sick of that.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, like there were a few other markets that are dissecting the fact that the right guard was inactive or the left guard was inactive as much as Philadelphia. Like every player is scrutinized in Philly. But anyways, so Tim says,
you don't think Adam Gase is getting Nate Herbig questions?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to say what the Jets are doing.
But maybe Herbig's, kids getting accosted at a Little League game, but.
All right, we're staying away from that one. So Tim asked Carson if he's expecting to start, or if it's his understanding that he's starting, and Carson, the polite North Dakotan that he is, says yes, sir. Like I gave him the sir.
Yeah. I like a sir. I throw a sir out pretty liberally.
It's the opposite of Chip Kelly, who once put. It's my second Chip Kelly reference. I shouldn't be too deep into Chip Kelly references. 22 minutes into the press conference, but Chip Kelly once pulled out a son on a reporter who was older than him.
Really?
And it did not go over well. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I sort of remember it, but I don't. Was it Marcus Hayes?
No, it was Bob Brookover.
Oh, Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's a interesting choice.
Yeah, he put out the son. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
And did Brookie like clap back right away?
I forget that specifically, but as we're talking about like questions that could doom you, and I saw this reference today, Brookie was the one who asked the question to Chip Kelly in what turned out to be Chip Kelly's last press conference with the Eagles that had Chip Kelly respond, "Well, I'm not the GM."
Right.
I didn't get those vibes from this. I didn't really see how it could be interpreted that way.
It could be interpreted that way if you're of the opinion that other people in the organization want a quarterback change, and that was Doug publicly saying no.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think that's the case, but
in the vein of the like, this was not a trap question. I thought there was a very good trap question asked by Jeff McClain today to Brandon Graham. He was like, you've always been so good, BG, at sniffing out screens. Like, what are tells that you get from opposing offenses on when a screen is coming? So it's like, that his angle is about the Eagles being bad at screens themselves. Twist it nicely to have Brandon answer that question for him.
So that's a fine question. I will tell you, I looked this up earlier today. How many yards do you think the Eagles have on screen, not wide receiver screens, but running back and tight end screens this year? They had 399 last year.
I'm sure that it's under 40.
Zach? 25.
38 yards on screens this season. They're averaging 2.2 yards per attempt with the screen game.
It's
wow.
Awful.
It's
pathetic.
Yeah, that is pathetic.
They're nothing that they've done well in the past they can do anymore. We'll get to that.
Someone in the chat guessed 0 yards.
All right, Zach, anything else from the Stone Cold Newsman in terms of...
As we're talking about, like, as we're talking about Doug answers that could be parsed, or that could be overanalyzed. He was asked about Kelsey starting his 100th game, and he said, every year it seems the team or the media is trying to get rid of him. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
I'm trying to pull that up here.
Maybe they omitted it from the transcript.
Well,
here. Whether it's wait here. I know over the years, probably in his career, we tried to, whether it's through the media or the team, we tried to find ways to move Jason Kelsey on.
Wow.
But I'll tell you what, I love this
Whoa.
guy. Right? Like,
Jeez.
like I heard that and I was like, it sounds to me like
good listening.
So.
Well, that is true. I could tell you from the Kelsey story I did that there were people in the Kelsey camp who thought they drafted Sayamalu, and then there are some, reports about Kelsey's play declining or slipping. They didn't take too kindly to that. So they did try to. Try to replace him, and then he came back and played really well.
But
I'll tell you
found
what,
that to be an interesting place, like a very subtle dig. I thought.
Yeah, if you want a bright spot from the Browns game, Kelsey was an animal in that game. He was just crushing guys in space. So
second half too.
Second half too. I don't know. How closely do you think I
Well,
watched?
he's playing with a busted elbow in the second
well,
half.
the whole run game was bad in the second half. So I don't know. I just noticed throughout that when there was a good play, he was crushing somebody, which you kind of wrote about.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, that was a good day after. I like that.
Zach, anything else?
In terms of
news-wise, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, so Zach Ertz is trending in the direction of playing. It certainly sounds like second week back in practice. He'll be back out there Sunday. No official move yet, but it looks that way. I did ask Doug because he mentioned last week that when they self-scouted during the bye, they were more effective out of 11 than 12, as we discussed on last week's pod. Does this mean that they're going to go back to playing as much 12 personnel as they did early in the season? And Doug said, not just 12. Richard Rodgers is
They
really
got to
impressed.
keep Richard Rodgers on the field. He's
really
third in the league in yards per route run for all players.
They really don't.
All players.
So they need to find ways to play 13 personnel, which I found to be an interesting answer. Like, we talked all this time about the need for speed this offseason. And here we are in November, and the Eagles are finding ways to get 3 tight ends on the field, right?
Yeah.
So pay attention to that. We spoke to Jason Kelsey. He's going to play this week. Jason Kelsey had the elbow injury, of course, last week. He said he knew right away what it was. It's feeling better than he expected right now. It's obviously sore. When we spoke to him, he had the brace on his left elbow. Then the Eagles activated, or I shouldn't say activated, began the 21-day practice window for Jannard Avery, and they put Cravon LeBlanc on IR.
Jannard Avery's been injured?
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Jannard Avery's been injured.
I just thought they weren't playing him.
So Avery's been down. Then we don't have an update formally on Lane Johnson. I guess we'll see toward the end of the week how Lane's doing, how Jason Peters is doing. Since we last spoke, and Bo and I wrote about this in our beat back and forth, Jason Peters is going to remain the left tackle. Doug Peterson said that on Monday. So they're not making a move at left tackle, or at least one that Doug is revealing in the press conferences. And we spoke to the special teams coordinator and the defensive coordinator yesterday. Nothing newsworthy came out, just more talking points.
So speaking of Jason Peters, I'll just give you a couple film notes here. And I think they showed this during the game, but the safety that Carson Wentz takes in the end zone, if Jason Peters is able to block Olivier Vernon, they might have a 90-yard touchdown to Dallas Goedert. I mean, it is a busted coverage. If he's able to get to his backside read and throw the ball to Dallas, I usually hate when announcers say, "Is Bo talking? Is Bo on mute?"
It looks like, yeah,
his
he's
mouth
on
is
mute.
Keep
He's
can't
on
hear
mute.
you, Bo. That was great. No, keep please.
I thought he was
why
doing
did
it
I say
on
anything?
purpose.
Oh, why did I say anything? We could have the whole podcast and not heard a word that he said. It would have been the best joke of all time. He would have gone through the whole thing. We could have just responded randomly. He would have been so confused. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. That was like Jason Peters blowing it against Olivier Vernon right there.
I was going to say, I think it at least takes a bit of a leap of faith that Wentz would have even gotten to that read.
Well,
but,
I mean, there was nothing. Yeah, but there was no defender near him, no safety, nothing like that. And so that was a huge play in the game if Jason Peters is able to make that block. So, just keep throwing him out there. He had a great game. It sends a good message to the locker room that you're definitely playing your best players when a guy just got embarrassed on like, I don't know how many sacks he gave up, but he played a terrible game. You've got a guy on the bench, a younger guy who's worked his butt off, who could be part of the team in future years, but why play him? Even if he might be better than the guy you're playing right now.
It's maddening. And it's not dissimilar from like the usage of Travis Fulgham, even though he's on the field. It's just like this coaching staff seems unable to identify obvious things that are right in front of them. Like, who are your good players? Get them involved. And it's crazy. I don't know.
We have a celebrity appearance in the chat here. Brandon Lee Gowden in here. BLG wishing Birds with Friends a happy Thanksgiving. I mean, you should see the reception he's getting in here.
Same to Brandon. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to our ombudsman, the great BLG. And the listeners are starstruck. BLG make an appearance in the chat. I was thinking about the Eagles in comparison to the Dolphins. The Dolphins, they're winning. They bench Ryan Fitzpatrick. They go with Tua. They think that's their best move. They think he gives them a better chance to win. Tua last week is doing nothing, right? They're getting beaten by the Broncos. He's not moving the team at all. Fourth quarter, for the last two drives, they bring in Fitzpatrick. And I'm watching the game thinking, I think this is a good move. Like, they had a chance to steal the game. They're in a playoff hunt. If anybody, Fitzpatrick, we know he's high variance. Maybe he gets hot for a couple drives, leads them to victory. Doesn't happen. Throws an interception on the last play. The Broncos made a really nice play. After the game, Flores explains it. It says, we're going back to Tua. It's not that crazy. These things, like, I feel like the Eagles think every little move is going to lead to some crazy locker room, what's the word I'm looking for?
Rift.
Revolution, rift, whatever. There's going to be chaos. Oh my God. They put Peters at right guard. How are we going to play a game? This is crazy. They traded for DeAndre Hopkins and gave him a contract. No other player is going to show up on Monday because of this. This doesn't happen in the NFL. Like, treat the players like grown-ups sometimes.
Yes.
Like, the Dolphins made those moves. I mean, think about if the Eagles thought about making those moves. The 700 different things. This person's going to ask me this at the press conference on Monday, and they're going to write this about
100%.
us. And then this is going to happen. And why don't you just do what gives your team the best chance to win? That's usually the best decision. Treat people like grown-ups. Fitzpatrick says after the game, I got a shot, but we know it's Tua's team. Tua says, I wasn't moving the team. They wanted to get Fitzpatrick in there. Guess what? Everyone showed up to practice on Wednesday, and it was okay. They understand. They're still getting their paychecks. Like, the coach has to communicate these things in a clear way, privately and publicly, and has to have the trust of the locker room, which this is something that Peterson, say what you want about him. That's something he has, I think, over the years. I don't think he should have to worry about all these things. And it just drives me nuts how much they worry about these little dynamics at play and don't just do things to help the team win. It's ridiculous.
It's the exact opposite of the tent pole of, like, respecting your players not enough or respecting them too much, or being too deferential to them. But it is the exact same symptom as the way Chip Kelly handled things, where you're just not treating grown men like adults. Just treat them like adults. They can handle it. So I totally agree.
And if they can't, it says something about that person, right?
Yeah. What's going to happen? Really, what is Jason Peters going to do if you say, JP, we love you. You've had a great career. Listen, we got to do what's best for the team. Mailata's one of our best five. We're going to play him at left tackle. We signed you to play right guard. We're not adjusting your salary. Let's go out there. Like, I mean, I don't know. What's he going to do? If he says, well, I'm not doing that, then fine. He's going to be the one who looks bad if he doesn't do that. And I don't think he would do that. He might be mad at right away. Then he's going to say, all right, I thought about it. There's nothing I could do. I'm going to play right guard because that's, you have no other options.
And if Carson Wentz goes out and is playing, it has like 4 interceptions against a terrible Cowboys team, and you're tied against Benny DiNucci, and you bench him at halftime, guess what? You're playing badly. You get benched, and fine, you come back and you go win the job back. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I don't agree. Well, might as well get into this conversation. I don't agree, and we've had this conversation, and you guys talked about it in the post-game pod, with the notion that if you bench Carson Wentz, there's no coming back from that. It's over. His Eagles career is over. I mean, I just totally disagree with that. We have precedent in this town. In 2008, Donovan McNabb gets benched. Kevin Kolb comes in. He doesn't play well. You go back to McNabb. You go to the NFC Championship game. And so the outcomes you would be looking for with such a move, if you thought that Carson Wentz was playing. I mean, Peterson's answer was so ridiculous that we're not giving up on the season. You're getting among the worst quarterback play in the NFL right now. That's not giving up on the season. It's trying to get a spark and trying to improve your offense. Like, the fact that didn't click or didn't seem to click for him was ridiculous. But let's say you bring in Hurts and he plays well. That's a good outcome. Let's say you bring in Hurts and he doesn't play well. Yeah, absolutely. If Jalen Hurts comes in and plays well.
So where I disagree with what you said previously, where like it's not hard, you go back to Carson, and you said there's precedent in this town, and they went back to McNabb in 2008 also because Kevin Kolb did not do any better.
Right.
If Hurts looks much better than Carson, and you said this yourself the last podcast 2 weeks ago, that you stick with Hurts, right? Then what do you do about Carson? So it is possible that you don't go back to Carson.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, you figure it out. I mean, if Hurts takes over and you win that's 5
great.
in a row and you win a playoff game, well, then it becomes a lot easier. I mean, Hurts is your guy. If he's okay and you're not sure, well, then that's why you have a 7-month offseason to figure out what you want to do. Maybe it's a quarterback competition. Maybe it's something else. Who knows who's going to be back? But, I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, Wentz can come back at some point. He's not 37 years old and he's not playing well right now. And you've tried 400 different things and none of them have worked. I don't see how it's a crazy solution. I would make the move right now. I would say, all right, we're making the move. Let's get the run game. We'll have a nice run game with Jalen Hurts in there. Carson, we want you to take a step back. We don't know if this is permanent. It's just not working right now. We're not blaming it on you. We're just in the hunt. It's the final 6 weeks. We feel like we need a spark. We're going to Jalen. I don't expect you to be happy about it. We expect you to compete, and we're going to need you at some point here. And you go with Hurts and you see what happens. I mean, most likely
extra day of practice.
Extra day. It's not a great defense you're going up against. It's a defense that's been getting shredded. All these different types of things. So I think it would be time just to see. Yeah, I mean, don't you just want to see what it would look like? You might have the exact same issues, and if you're Jeffrey Lurie, well, then that can clarify some things for you. If Hurts comes in, it's the same. The exact same issues. Well, now you're thinking about, well, was that the right pick? Is it the coaches? All these different types of things. Is it the roster? But I don't know. They're just doing the same thing over and over again. And it seems so clear that they don't have any answers. Maybe they do have answers. Maybe they'll turn it around. Things do change sometimes at this point in the season. I feel like we forget every year, but stuff happens in weeks 12, 13, 14, 15 that you never saw coming. So there's always the chance of that. But man, just watching the thing that really sticks out on film is just how unsure Wentz is on every play, how he has no answers on any of the plays. It is night and day from 2017. I mean, have you seen a quarterback hitch more in the pocket than him? Even on the Richard Rodgers touchdown, he's hitching 3 times. And then
that play is great. It's like the worst looking good play I've ever seen.
It's unbelievable. And it's really like every single time he's back there. And so you need to do something to break that, I feel like.
I've said this on the podcast the other night on the postgame, but they paid this premium price for an insurance policy at an important position, and maybe they didn't foresee this being what they were going to need to use that policy for. But guess what? You have this, you paid for it, you might as well use it, and it's not going to up your rates for cashing it in.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
Agree, I didn't agree with your. Did you see Zach Bo got some real nice engagement on that tweet? You see that?
You don't agree with that?
I mean,
I
it's
did
I
not.
don't think it's at your Greg Ward level, but Bo, what'd you get on that bad boy? I mean, that was really
I don't know.
spreading.
It's nothing like your
Nice.
Wentz piece.
Nice, strong take there. I feel like. But
I think
what was the exact take? Because I do think I slightly disagreed with you.
I said
Remember?
if Jalen Hurts, if they don't think that he is good enough to give them better quarterback play than what they are getting from Carson Wentz right now, then he wasn't worth a second round pick.
Yeah, no, I don't think I totally agree with that because I mean, he's like a rookie. And so I don't think I would judge don't get me wrong. I think it was a bad pick. We panned it the night it happened, all those different types of things. But
we are talking about a guy who is playing as the worst quarterback in the league.
Well, that's true. 216 retweets, Zach. 52.
That's nothing to you. That's nothing to you.
2,000 likes. How about that? 2,000 likes.
You guys are the real engagement monsters.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I'm tweeting like Jack Del Rio jokes. It's come on.
That's one of the tweets that she understood.
Yeah, I was gonna say. At least I did understand. I felt like I could respond.
It only resonated. He only remembered it because he understood it. Yeah.
But I do need a mea culpa here. I need to make a mea
culpa on the show.
Moa culpa, but actually mea culpa. Like I got the expression correct?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay, yeah.
All right, we can mute him again if we need to.
So on draft night and draft weekend, I was saying like that this Hurts pick, it doesn't create a quarterback controversy. I think that's a stretch. They've shown Carson, with the contract they gave him, with everything that they've done in the past few years, that he's their guy. Like a second round pick is not. I was saying all of that on draft night and draft weekend, and I firmly believed it. And I didn't think that.
I think they probably believed it too.
Yeah. So, and because the suggestion was
dumb.
Every time Carson threw an interception, people would be calling for Jalen Hurts, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. But I didn't foresee this. And
no one did, yeah.
But I'll say that they created this situation by taking Jalen Hurts in the second round, where they
invited this situation.
Exactly. If Nate, and I said this on the pod the other night, if Nate Sudfeld was the number 2, then there wouldn't be this curiosity. Maybe there'd be like, are you going to bench Carson for a game? But I don't think anyone practically would be like, have Nate Sudfeld be your quarterback for the rest of the season. But because of the investment they made, because they spent that second round pick, there is a legitimate argument that could be made that why don't you see what you have here?
And as I said, go ahead, Joe.
Well, no, go ahead. Say what you were going to say, because I have my notes here from the post.
As I said the other night, I think if it was Sudfeld as the backup, they would have been more likely to do an in-game yanking because they wouldn't have been afraid of the firestorm that would come after.
I thought that was the craziest thing I heard in the post pod. I mean, on what planet? I mean,
I think it's true.
There is no world where they would envision a scenario where they could put Sudfeld.
Yeah, but
Sudfeld in there for Wentz. That would not happen under any circumstances.
I don't know.
He could fumble on 7 straight possessions, and there's no way they would think, all right.
I don't think that's true.
That is true. That was crazy. Zach, next time you got to call him out on that.
I stand by that.
Come on. That's not true at all. I don't think so. All right. So,
but when they signed Nate back in March, I thought that, and again, I was critical of it because I thought they needed a backup with more experience in case Carson got hurt. But I thought, all right, well, here's a guy who like Carson likes. He's good in the room, and he's totally non-threatening for Carson, right? So I thought, if anything, like that is the advantage of it is that you're not creating a situation where if you brought in Jameis Winston, let's say, or someone like that, there's that curiosity, but that's not so with Nate Sudfeld. There is a curiosity legitimately, not just because of the player, but especially because of the cost with Jalen Hurts. And
I think one day when, if this goes the way that it looks like it's going and Carson Wentz, is no longer with the Eagles in a couple of years, He goes somewhere else. He has a little bit of success somewhere else, a bit of a career rejuvenation. And the story is written about his time in Philadelphia. I think there's going to be a lot to be said for like the mental anguish that he has been put through throughout his career here, whether it's, the injury in 2017, watching his backup win the Super Bowl, getting hurt again and watching his backup have success again, getting hurt again, finally making it to the playoffs, and he suffers a concussion. And the truth is, maybe we're not connecting the dots enough to that concussion. Like, since the Clowney hit, he's been bad. I don't know if there are lasting effects from that, but all these things that he's been through, then the team drafts his backup in the second round. He never sort of feels the full commitment. I feel like that is going to be sort of the narrative 5 years down the road.
I disagree with that last statement. They gave him a $128 million contract.
But that's table stakes for a quarterback.
They've pandered to him at every turn here in the past few years. Like anything Carson's wanted, they've done. I mean, this has been.
They didn't get him any receivers.
Well, they think they have, though. That's the thing. No, and I go back to what Sheil was saying about Peters, and I like treat Carson like an adult, right? They drafted a quarterback in the second round. Okay, like, you're our guy. We paid you $128 million. We traded 3 years of drafts or 2 years of drafts to get you. We let the Super Bowl MVP leave because we're committed to you. Like, what more do you need to, like, I agreed with what Howie said. They showed Carson through their actions and their wallet, their cap space, their wallet, however you want to phrase it, that he's their quarterback. If they're sensitive to Carson's feelings here, then I think that says more about Carson than it does about the Eagles.
Well, I don't think, though, what Bo said is inaccurate or unfair. I mean, it is a crazy 5-year stretch.
Right.
Sure.
When you think about it now, not everything is like because of decisions the team made or in their control or those things. I mean, things happen, but it is a crazy 5-year stretch. And there could absolutely be a scenario where it doesn't work out and he goes somewhere maybe in 2022 and it's a fresh start and there's a better supporting cast around him, and the coaching staff really knows how to get him back on track. And he has an amazing phase 2 of his career. And he does look back, and there's a big feature about, it was hard watching Nick up there with that trophy after I started 13 games. And then the next year I go down and we're not playing in SNCC again. There's shrines in the locker room and all these different types of, so I think all those things are real and fair. Like, I don't know that there's been another quarterback who's had that way. I actually think that's why there is this emotional investment from Eagles fans in Carson Wentz, and why this year has been so difficult is because, like, they watched that Super Bowl year and they were like, this is our guy, this is it. And you had to, I mean, it's normal to feel for him after the way the next couple of years went. It's just like, all right, get some guys around him. They're not helping him out and do this and this. And then now you have this year and it's gone worse than anyone could imagine. And it's like, there's been sort of I don't know if denial is the right word, but it's just like, no, this can't be, he can't be playing this poorly. This was our guy. And I think that's why this year has sucked so bad, among other things, for Eagles fans.
I think that's
that's a really good point. But I do think we can agree that, like, when Carson was on, and I know it's been since 2017, but I thought he played well in 2018 too, before the injury. But when he's at his best, like, there are few quarterbacks in the league like him. Are you fans of The Wire?
Yes. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Me and Nnamdi Asomugha. Come on. Bird on a Wire, PhiladelphiaEagles.com every week.
I buried that. Whew.
Gotta be the thing that I'm most famous for.
like McNulty's wake when they said, but like, when he was at his best, like, there's no better detective. Like, that's kind of when Carson's on, he plays the position like few people can.
I don't know how. I would wonder what that number would be, though, when you look at the landscape of the league now. I mean, I think
I agree with that. There was sort of a time in 2017.
It's different now. This is different now. This is why it's I agree really, with that. Like, the quarterback market is very interesting. Getting competence right now. Like, I remember when Nick Foles, I think it was that first run, and it was like, well, if he can actually give you just competence, then that actually is very meaningful and is something. That's not the case anymore. I mean, every team has like some level of competence except for like the Jaguars. I mean, there might be 2-3 teams where you're just like, they have no shot this weekend because their quarterback sucks so bad. But most of the teams, like there's this huge range from like 5 to 20 of guys like the Garoppolos and the Goffs and Bo's boy Kirk Cousins, where it's like, well, it depends on the day. This guy could throw for 303 touchdowns. This guy could be a disaster today. If you look at it over the course of an entire season, they're probably going to be okay if you put the right pieces around them, if you have good coaching. So it's very different now. And that's why it is hard to sort of assess Wentz also, because that ceiling from 2017, I agree. He played, there were times even last year and in 2018 where you thought, all right, he's playing pretty well here. Maybe he's like a top 12 guy, but I don't know, that middle range is a lot easier to obtain now, I think, than it was definitely when we were like growing up, but even like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I guess I am too swayed by 2017. And frankly, that might be, and I don't know if this is the podcast for it. It might be something after the season to really go
podcast
to really go in depth on. But I think organizationally, like that might be their biggest issue is that 2017 is looking more like lightning in a bottle than it's looking like this foundational year where this is the beginning of something,
100%. I mean, look at them since then.
Got a losing record, as you pointed out.
This wasn't like the this is not like the Andy McNabb era where obviously they never won the title there. So Eagles fans would easily trade, I think, this stretch for that stretch. But when you're looking at it as an organization, are we building for sustained success where year after year after year, we're going to be in the mix? You cannot answer that. Yes. I mean, yes, they've won they've been the playoffs the last 2 years, but come on, look at the circumstances. They've been 9-win teams. They've had a terrible division. You look at all the advanced metrics, they've been mediocre by those. And so they have not built a roster or an organization for sustained success. They just haven't, regardless of whatever win totals they want to brag about on and off the record. That has not been the case.
You're
right. Before we get to the next segment, Sheil, any other takes you had written down from the last podcast?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me to do an ad read from the last podcast. Let's see. The Hurts thing, I just feel like it's too early to say that. I mean, you could have because a second round pick, remember, we looked at the numbers during the draft, right? And there's like a 40 to 50% chance that you're getting a competent backup in the second round. And so,
well, yeah, but that's the use of the pick. Those ended up being bad picks.
Right. But to say that like at this point, if he's not ready to play and give you like, average starter play, that it's a bad pick, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. That's all. I think,
but if he can't be like the 5th worst quarterback in the league right now, then that's a bad pick. Like that's better than Wentz.
All right, I guess that's could be true.
Anyway,
all right. I couldn't believe you just like let this moment slide where I guess Bo was responding to a text or something and said it's about the 3-week-old. And Zach said you're responding to a 3-week-old text. Marissa, right? Wasn't it something?
He said you're answering a week-old text.
Yeah. But then they just moved on. I mean, Zach thinks Bo has such little like respect for what he's saying that he would be responding to a week-old text in the middle of like a point he's making.
and saying hold on, like
hold on. So I did think that was a funny moment. I thought. Sorry. How about Bo with the big flex about, I have a friend in Cleveland I'd like to see.
Huge.
Yeah. I mean, come on. What a flex that was. All right. I think those were I have no idea why I wrote this down. I don't think you guys talked about this, but I just wrote down fiance. Because has anyone ever said that word and that sounded like a complete, you're just like, shut up. You know?
What are you supposed to call it?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think
there's no better option, but
So I don't know why I wrote it down, but it's right there under Big Flex Cleveland friend. So, there you go.
There was a funny moment on the
this is true. Actual notes right there.
We can't see it because
we can't see it because it's
I kind of like that. I could write anything down.
There was a funny moment on the Zoom calls today where somebody prefaced a question with I was talking to Ron Jaworski recently. It was like, big Jaworski flex there.
Jaws flex right there.
Jaws flex. All right. Anything
Speaking of
else
flex,
from the? Oh, go ahead.
I love a crushed ice. I love a crushed ice with a soda. I love a crushed ice with a Pepsi. I've always been a Pepsi over that other. We don't even need to name the competitor.
Oh yeah, Mr. Pibb. No.
I've always been a team Pepsi guy, and this football season will be different. And Pepsi is here to get you ready for game day. I apologize for how I pronounce Pepsi. I know people when I do those, the big P's, not how I pronounce it, but they say
the emphasis.
They're sometimes in the car and they're like easy there. So I apologize for that. But Pepsi is the refreshment you need to power through game day and become a member of the League of Football Watchers, because passionate fans are the real generational talent that Pepsi fuels. Pepsi isn't made for those who play the game. It's made for those who watch it. Pepsi, made for football watching. Go to madeforfootballwatching.com to check out the latest football watching content from Pepsi. I'll tell you what, Thanksgiving, you start getting a little tired mid-afternoon. Maybe you're not in the mood for a coffee, but you need some caffeine. And, you might not be having a Pepsi every day, but a special occasion, have that Pepsi with some crushed ice. Give yourself a nice afternoon boost.
Good comment from Christian, who says, Zach's TV Corner. Recommend The Wire and Breaking Bad. Thanks for the tips. Very much on brand.
Outstanding shows. Both outstanding shows.
Apple, Google, The Wire and Breaking Bad.
I said Apple and Amazon. And
Apple and Amazon, yeah.
If you go back and you look at where they were on February 25th, and where they are, anyways, we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
But
Pandemic
speaking
profiteers.
of flex, a healthy life includes a healthy sex life.
Oh.
But if you struggle with erectile dysfunction, you may not feel like your best self. If you want help with ED, Roman connects you with a real U.S. licensed healthcare professional who can prescribe the medicine you need. With Roman, you can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, Roman will ship you real medicine with free 2-day shipping. The whole process is straightforward, simple, and discreet. And getting started is simple as well. Just go to GetRoman.com/BWF and complete an online visit. Erectile dysfunction used to be tough to talk about, but now there's Roman. Complete an online visit today to connect with a doctor and take care of it. Just go to GetRoman.com/BWF to get $15 off your first order of ED treatment, a free online visit, and free 2-day shipping. That's GetRoman.com/BWF for $15 off your first order of ED treatment. GetRoman.com/BWF.
Marissa, what's your Thanksgiving spread going to be like tomorrow?
Well, my Thanksgiving is going to be very different. I normally have like 50 people at my mom's, but obviously we are, being responsible and not doing that. So it's just me, my mom, my stepdad. I might see my cousins from the street and wave to them outside.
Nice.
But my mom's still cooking as if there's 50 people coming over. So
are you going to be dropping the food off to other people, or?
No, I think my uncles might pick up her stuffing because she's the only one that knows how to make it like my grandma used to. So she's going to have to leave it outside, but I can't eat stuffing because it's not gluten-free.
You should have her make a magic spoon stuffing.
Well, she did make me a gluten-free pepperoni bread. So I really, that's honestly I think I'll like that. I mean, turkey's not my favorite. So the pepperoni bread might be my main course tomorrow. But
okay, I like that.
Mashed potatoes and corn is my mix together. I like mashed potatoes and corn.
Gravy?
I don't I like gravy on turkey, but I don't really love it. I like it in mashed potatoes, but I like corn and mashed potatoes better.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
What about you guys?
We're doing turkey, stuffing, green bean casserole, and mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Lots of recommendations in the chat. I guess they're doing a BWF drinking game, sort of, and someone said drink for every turkey that Z-Berm saves for next week. that would be dangerous. I feel like
it'd be like Jay Billis during the NBA draft, bottoms up, right?
He has 50 turkeys, so
yeah, he's got a lot. And Sheila, what are you drinking? Seeing you sipping on a little something.
A little beverage.
Okay, a little bevy.
Yeah,
okay.
a little bevy.
Did you have any other Squall 22 notes to get to?
Let's see. Does anyone care about these?
Yes.
I mean, you did the work. You might as well
I do.
have it pay off.
22. The Wentz pick 6, I feel like has gotten some different reaction. Dan Orlovsky had a video where he thought.
I feel like Dan Orlovsky's been a little bit, generally speaking, a little bit too nice to Carson. A little bit too defensive of Carson.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's going for that. Yeah, I think he's. Yeah.
You rip on me for like suggesting
obvious.
Apple.
Yeah, really. I mean, I thought. Didn't you think he was joking, Zach? Yeah, I was like, where's he going with this?
First, I thought he like both thought he had this really unique take.
Okay, I'm just saying.
By the way, that's the knock on Dan. And Dan's awesome.
This is all like Bo says these inside jokes that all the listeners aren't tuned in on. Maybe they don't know that. You think they're
in the comment section
always listening
on
to
YouTube.
Dan Orlovsky?
Yeah.
If this is the first time you've heard that, is this the first time you heard Dan Orlovsky might be a pro Wentz guy? Put that in the comment section on YouTube.
If you feel enlightened, well, I think that was worse than Apple and Amazon. I think.
No way.
He didn't think that that was necessarily on Wentz. I disagree. I know Coach Flynn. I sent him the clip, and he feels like the ball needs to be out there to Jalen Reagor. I thought it was a pretty nice, well-designed play, actually. Reagor is kind of slowly acting like he's going to block the linebacker, and then he goes out into his route. I was, in soft play action, I was like, that's kind of creative. That's a nice looking play. I mean, Zach's boy. This is the third time we've mentioned him now. Chip Kelly would always use NFL Open. I mean, give me a break. The safety's like 6-7 yards away from him. I mean, I think there's plenty of room to get that ball there. Doug Peterson said, I was reading his transcript. But he will rarely, I feel like, say we felt like there was a chance to complete that pass. And he kind of said that. If he's saying that, I feel like it's obvious there. So, Richard Rodgers blew the blocking assignment. Yes, you would prefer that he doesn't do that, but
he's the number one receiver. You can't really ask him.
Yeah, you can't ask him to do it all. So the ball should be out to Reagor, and it's just like another example of how unsure Wentz has been all season long. This drove me nuts. The screen passes to Greg Ward.
I did I mention this on the pod? I thought I did. Right?
You probably did. Yeah, I probably
just
repeating
in passing.
It. But
It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's the least. He's the least explosive guy with the ball in his hands. Or Fulgham. Get the ball in those guys' hands. What are you doing?
There were two. There were two in the first half, and I'm just I couldn't believe it. Why on earth? You should not be calling plays for Greg Ward. Greg Ward's Doug Peterson has said this to us over the years, right? I remember him saying when we put together a game plan, I don't know what year it was, but we got plays for Ertz, we got plays for
17
Jeffrey,
plays.
86, and he'll name 3 guys, and he's like, and then the other guys, it's going to be in the flow of the game. That's when they're going to get their catches. That should be 84. 84 should be in the flow of the game when he's getting those catches.
Well, you know how Richard Rodgers is third in the league in yards per route run.
Okay,
Greg Ward among wide receivers, second last.
Oof. Well,
pretty bad. 1.01, I believe, yards per route run.
Yeah, no, that
Demarcus Robinson is the only one worse.
Demarcus Robinson, not a great player.
The Eagles wanted to sign him, so
I really feel like
they can really pick him.
I really feel like the Chiefs could upgrade that spot with somebody whenever I watch the Chiefs. But and then some of these other I know you guys mentioned these after the game, but just the degree to how conservative they are right now. I mean, 3rd and 7. I don't even think it was a zone read watching the film. I think it was a tackle trap. I think it was supposed to be a run play, and it was just screwed up. And Wentz is just all right, I'm not handing it off. I'm just going to go run with it, which is third. I don't know. But that was at midfield. So whether it's a read play or just a run play, I mean, what are you doing there? You can't take a shot with something there. You punt on 4th and 4 from the Cleveland 44. You guys mentioned not taking the timeout after the Josh Sweat sack. There were 2 more busted screen passes. And then I thought the play that really just epitomized their season was the last interception there. I mean,
Alshon,
2:07 left. You're down by 12. It's desperation mode. Dial up what do you got? What's the best play? What's the one you got to get a touchdown here? What's your best red zone play? They're going one-on-one. Alshon Jeffrey to Denzel Ward, who's been at a
5 yards,
all pro level corner this year. I mean, for 5 yards. This one-on-one, there's no screen, there's no rub concept. You're not doing anything fancy there. It's Alshon, go try to run a 5-yard out. If you catch the ball there, you're not even in the end zone.
It's an important like situational thing to score before the 2-minute warning for them there. So beyond like just thinking that this guy who's playing his 5th snap and is running like an 85-year-old.
Snap of the game. It's his 5th snap of the game.
Beyond thinking that guy's going to win that route, it's a terrible play to call.
Yeah, I mean that.
Also, if your explanation for that is that your timing is off with him, like Alshon's been here since 2017.
Well, yeah, but he hasn't been throwing to geezer Alshon, who's like this is a totally different player.
Alshon jumped like
one of the funniest. I mean, there were 3 laugh out loud moments of the game, and Alshon's jump was one of them.
So it makes no sense whatsoever.
Bo pointed out the jump to me, which because I tweeted out the play.
This was on the separate text. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Marissa, I just want to make sure we
Well, I tweeted out. I tweeted out the play, and Bo said that was one of what he just said. That was one of 3 left. So then I watched Alshon jump, and it really is funny. I told Bo it's like when Leela, our 4-year-old, would be like, Daddy, look how high I can jump. I don't know if your kids do this. It's very funny. You should have them do it tomorrow if they haven't. And then she'll jump and like she's getting like this far off the ground. It takes after Dad. We don't have a lot of hops in the Capadia jeans, but that's what it reminded me of with Alshon Jeffrey. Like, what was that jump? It was amazing. I suggest everyone go watch it. Treat yourself on Thanksgiving.
What's your do you have like what is your bedtime routine like with the kids these days, Jill?
Pretty smooth, I would say.
Is it a set thing every night? Like
8 o'clock, everyone goes up. Leela is usually pretty easy. And then like Naya stays up for like an hour and a half doing like 40 different things. Yeah.
A friend of mine was explaining theirs tonight. I think their daughter's like 4-ish. And he said him and his wife have to stand up in front of her, and she picks one of them to read the book and sends the other one away. And it's just like standing in front of the queen. My wife and I were laughing about that because it seems very like Casey could be asking us to do that any day now, because it's always like he has to be in control of every single little thing. It's very funny.
I did get a daddy go away like about 5 minutes before we started recording, so that happens. But I think 4, I would say 4 is like has been my favorite age, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. 4 is a great age. I feel like they're the potty training's good, all that stuff. The whining is, the tantrums and the whining has died down. They're forming their own thoughts. I like a 4.
I'm 6 months away from that, or 7 months away.
You're lucky. Yeah.
I got an official 3 starting in a couple weeks, but
okay.
I like
the
this
Rams
age.
trip.
Yeah.
The Rams trip, right?
That's right.
Yeah. That's right. The post-game
right
pod.
after the post-game pod. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You had a few other.
I mean, Jalen Mills, I hope he had something really fun to do this week, because I don't know where his head was at. Like his head was not in that game. I mean, I don't know what he was doing there, but that could be. You can certainly blame that on Howie Roseman and the organization. Jalen Mills had a chance to test the market and came back on a 1-year, $4 million deal, right? So
at a different position.
At a different position. So that kind of tells you what the league's view was on him, but he just played really poorly.
All right. Well, I guess we can get to Crow Thine Enemy as we turn our attention on Capadia Week to the Seattle Seahawks. They are 6th overall in DVOA, and a little bit different than the Seahawks of years past. 4th in offense, 4th passing, 8th rushing, but 23rd on defense, 27th against the pass, and 8th against the rush, although I think their defense has been a little bit better the past couple of weeks. Sheila, what can you tell us about your former favorite team?
Well, first of all, I haven't been able to keep up with the comments. It's been too much. You saw during the post-game pod how hard it is. We got a lot of people in there. Thank you, everybody. I like reading the chat replay after the fact, so I'll read that tomorrow. But there's little I can do now.
I'm reading them.
All right.
Shay Richardson says, "I feel like Bo asks about bedtime every show."
Yeah, I would say that's right.
True.
Yeah. All right. So you really have to impress Marissa with a great comment to get it read here. This isn't going to be just willy-nilly. The Seahawks. Okay. Well, you know what the Seahawks record is against Doug Peterson, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
4-0, right?
5-0. Right?
How many points do you think they've
5-0?
outscored the Eagles?
Is it 5?
No, it's 4.
That was 4.
Four,
4,
four,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think the point differential's been?
35.
Zach?
36.
Oh, game theory and up. All right. 41.
Okay.
So Zach wins.
Close to
What do you
10.
think? What do you think the most points the Eagles have scored in any of those games is?
I'd say that game in Seattle in 2017. So was that 17 or
23?
People are putting different things in the chat. I'm talking about since Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz have been the head coach. It's 4-0. 15. The Eagles have not scored more than 15 points in any game against the Seahawks. So, it's this year it was shaping up to be a different type of year for the Seahawks until last week. And so now I almost feel like you're going to see the version you've seen in previous years because they lost back-to-back games. Russell Wilson, I think, had like 6 turnovers in 2 games there. And so you saw last Thursday night, if you watch that game, it did look a lot more like previous Seahawks teams where they were basically this year through the first 10 weeks of the season, no team was more pass heavy than the Seahawks. That includes the Chiefs, that includes the Eagles, that includes everyone else. And this is a team that 2 years ago ranked 32nd in that category. So they just were like, all right, we'll hand the keys to Russell Wilson. We understand it's good to pass with him on early downs. Let's do that. But then they felt like they got too pass heavy, even though I don't think that's the reason why they lost those games. They looked at it, and I think they thought that was the case. And then they come out against the Cardinals. They're much more balanced, and they win that game. So I almost feel like on Monday night, you're going to see a more balanced attack. And so it's a really top-heavy roster. I mean, it's Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. Those guys are tough to cover every single week. They can score in a hurry. They can put together explosive plays. Those guys are tough to match up with. And so that's obviously going to be a big key. And then defensively, they made the trade for Jamal Adams. So he didn't play there in the middle of the season. He was injured. They traded for Carlos Dunlap. He played last week. So I do feel like some of the takes about their defense may be overblown. Like I think their defense from now till the end of the year is going to be better than it was through the first 12 weeks. Man, everybody, you guys couldn't look more bored. You're the one who asked me this question.
I'm listening to everything.
I was sorry. I was Googling Pete Carroll 9/11 truther to look for an article. So
predictable. I mean, really. So I don't know. That's what you're getting. The defense has not played well this season. I think they're 27th in DVOA, but it is
who's the one who's not listening now?
It is a different group that you're
23rd overall, 27th against the pass.
Okay. But you are getting a team now that has Jamal Adams, Carlos Dunlap, and I think Shaq Griffin, their corner, is going to be back healthy Monday night. So it's like a different personnel wise than you've seen previously.
Do you think we will see Darius Slay match up and follow DK Metcalf?
I think you have to with the
Eagles.
So. With the Eagles personnel. What are you going to put Avonte Maddox on DK Metcalf? How's that going to go for you? Exactly. I mean, really, this is what we talked. Yeah. We talked about this. When did they make the Darius Slay trade?
April,
March. No,
we talked about this.
March.
If your
March 16th.
If your other guy,
if you nailed that date, that is sick.
Yeah. So you have to. I mean, if you're going to play a 5'8" guy who's getting cooked every week on the other side, he's not going to have an easy time with Tyler Lockett, but you can't have him match up with DK Metcalf.
March 19th, turns out. Very close.
Not great out of you.
I said, big flex here. I was on the Seahawks podcast.
I saw that.
And I said, I do expect Slay to match up with DK Metcalf. And so there's no limit to the amount of receiving yards that Tyler Lockett could have in this game. Like he could have 250 receiving.
Like if Avonte Maddox can't cover Tyler Lockett, not in terms of a cover like sticking to him,
because it's the type of player.
That's the type of player Avonte should be able to cover. Like if there's any play in this game when Slay is on Lockett and Maddox is on Metcalf, then it's like coaching malpractice almost, right? Like it makes too much sense. I think Maddox has played poorly. I think they've overrated. I think Maddox is a good player, but in his 3 years here, the position where I thought he was best was deep safety
I think Maddox is a fine player who they have overrated.
Yeah. But of the opposing receivers, you're thinking that Maddox can at least play with like a smaller, quicker guy because that's the type of corner he is.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, Lockett will smoke Maddox if he's one-on-one with him.
Lockett's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's he can win downfield. He's a great route runner. He's more physical than he looks. I mean, he is. Yeah. So, I mean, it goes back to Maddox. I mean, really, you have a slot corner on your team who you like. You move him to the outside. You sign another slot corner. What are you doing? I mean, it goes back to the roster construction. How many slot corners do they have? They have 3 slot corners on the team, really.
Build the whole team. Yeah.
Their second best outside corner is probably playing safety, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Not based on what he did last week. But, yeah, I would have said that going into the year.
Yeah.
And then the other thing on the other side, I'm sure that will be a topic of discussion is, just how much Russell Wilson is going to be able to run wild on this defense who has let opposing quarterbacks do that.
I mean, that doesn't matter. You stop running back runs. Nothing.
Right. Those are
matters.
passing yards. They're not running yards.
No, that doesn't count. Yeah. No,
Brandon Graham said today, he was talking about Wilson and he's like,
is it Russell Wilson or Wilson Russell?
He said Russell Wilson. He said, he can beat you with his arms and his legs. And then he said something like, and especially when you're in man coverage, he sees your back to him and he'll just take off. Well, the Eagles play man coverage all the time, basically. So that's a bad sign, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe they'll play more zone, but he is selective. Third down, high leverage situations. I feel like some veteran quarterback gave him that advice early on that only run when you need to run if you want a long career, and so it does seem like that is how he approaches it.
All right. Anything else on the Seattle Seahawks?
No.
All right, let's get to.
I haven't done any. Maybe you were on the Seahawks pod, Flex. Yeah. You got anything to give us?
That's about it. I mean, I talked about the Eagles. Yeah.
Also, a little behind the scenes here.
I like this.
Last year,
Kevin Stefanski and Zach Berman.
No. Little teleconferences behind the scenes. Last year, Pete Carroll was asked about Alex Singleton and his.
This is like your favorite story.
You love this.
Pete had like no idea who Alex Singleton was. Okay, and so anyway, it
had been like 3 years since he was on a training camp roster.
Well, no. So this is why I'm telling the story, so you guys will appreciate this. Mm-hmm. So today, I asked Pete Carroll a question about like organizationally valuing linebackers because they took a linebacker in the first round this year. And, he gave a good answer about like their linebackers, and they've had Wagner and Wright for so long. They haven't really needed one for a while, but when you find a guy like Jordan Brooks, you want to take him. And then he's like, so I can't speak to what the Eagles are doing, but I really like their linebackers. We had Singleton here, and we think the world of him. You
think that he was self-scouting?
Yeah, like last year you had no idea who this guy was.
Yeah. No, I could see that because this year he's actually,
exactly. Yeah,
they probably watched last week's film and were like, "Wow, this guy's pretty good."
This guy's good. Yeah, I enjoyed talking to Pete Carroll today. Yeah, I as you guys know, I like people who bring energy. And he brings energy. So
be the thermostat, not the thermometer.
Exactly. Every day.
That's what Jordan Peterson used to tell Pete Carroll when they hung out all the time.
Zach would have really loved the Seahawks beat Zach because on Mondays, here it's Doug's looking to get in and out of there. Pete Carroll's Monday press conferences after a game, he wanted to just get every answer about every question about that game. He said, let's do it on Monday. And that way we don't have to do it later in the week. 40 minutes. I mean, the press conference.
40 minutes.
Yeah,
I would love it.
I would get 7 questions in a Monday press conference some weeks. I mean, it was.
That's amazing.
It would end with their PR guy saying, "Anyone else? Anyone else? Nope. Okay, we'll call it." I don't think you could do that in Philadelphia. I do think in Philadelphia when that happens, then people just start asking really terrible. It's like, all right, you're just asking the question because there's time to ask for.
I hope the Eagles PR staff's watching this right now because I would love that.
I think if they start watching this, we're gonna have some problems.
We get one question we get one question this year.
Well,
and
these are
sometimes we only
different
get one.
times. It's not always one.
Oh no, I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like in terms of like the questions you have in your holster, so to speak.
Yeah.
You need to fire either the best one or the one you don't think someone else is going to ask, right? Like I always want to know injury information, but I don't want to burn my question on injuries. Right. But then when you don't ask it and no one else does, you don't have the the injury updates. So it's a little strategic sometimes.
There you go.
That's right. All right. Well, it's time to play the game.
What time is it? Is it like midnight yet?
It is Thanksgiving Eve.
Oh, okay.
I got
the turkey's ready.
Whoever made the GIF of you doing that was incredible.
That was DFOP Ben Harris, University of Maryland alum.
Oh,
he's a Terp.
Oh yeah,
And,
I know Ben.
Yeah,
I didn't know he was the one that made it.
The athletic alum.
Athletic alum. Yeah, is where he works now? Is that public or not?
I believe so.
Okay,
that's public. I'm sure you could Google it. I'll double check just to Google it.
Anyway,
so we're not adding it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Zach comes in with a resounding 50 turkeys. And I'm sure that Carson Wentz tomorrow is going to be coming for those turkeys with a gun. Shields got 25. I've got 24.
Okay, yeah. DFOP Ben Harris works for the Milwaukee Brewers. I just wasn't sure if we were able to.
I think that's public.
Yeah. I want to get a nice
organization.
Yeah.
In terms of the way they built that roster.
Well, he wrote unbelievable stuff for us with the tipping of pitches. Remember that?
Yes.
Great pieces. Yeah, people take notice.
Are you surprised, like where he went to school? Like
sometimes.
Yeah, he had to. He had to overcome that, and so you can overcome obstacles,
right?
And you can still rise to professional organization.
If you can make it out of there, you can. Yeah.
Oh, I love Maryland. I'm a tiny MTC. Good people down there.
That's debatable. All right, let's get to it. Zach, you've got 50. We're going to find out if you're going to push.
And I don't have my pen and paper this time, so it's on the head.
And you are on the season-long leaderboard. You have 0 wins. Sheila and I are tied with 2.
Wait, now I forget what we decided. You try to win the week, and that's a win?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that is what makes the most sense.
Okay. All right.
And then if there's a tie, it'll be broken by how many individual things you've won.
So we both have 2. There's 6 weeks left.
That's right. So Zach,
maybe 7, maybe 8, maybe 9.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, like the 04 Red
Sox.
But
it also could be 4 or 5 if there are some COVID complications.
That's true too. It could be
or it could
0.
be 7 if they make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Sheila was saying before. Yeah. It's getting a little bit later, so Zach's losing a little bit.
I got a story I need to start after this, so it's gonna be a late.
Oh my gosh, start after this. Jeez. Yeah. All right. So Zach has how many extra? Sorry, I know this was said.
He's got 50.
He's got 50?
Yeah. And you have 25 and I have 24.
Oh. All right.
All
right.
So
wow, somebody on the chat says Ben Harris is my neighbor.
Oh, cool.
Wow. I wish I have great neighbors, so. But if I would love for him to
flex,
I would love to have him in my neighborhood though.
I don't know if I've ever heard someone brag about their neighbors before.
It's a big thing. Great neighbors in my neighborhood.
All right.
It's important. You don't think about that. You're thinking of the house and all the, you don't want to be living, around a bunch of clowns.
I don't think you need great neighbors as much as you just want to avoid bad neighbors.
That's true.
I'm happy with a neutral neighbor.
Yeah, I like a neutral neighbor, but a good neighbor is even better.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So not to throw Zach under the bus a little bit, but he did send these in as we were starting.
Yeah,
so
my fault.
I didn't read over them. So now I'm realizing that 2 of them are kind of the same. So I think I'm going to take one extra.
Yeah, take one out.
Yeah, take them from the listeners.
They're not like exactly the same, but like they're pretty much the same.
Give the listeners some
you're
love.
the host. You've got the leeway on that.
I was transcribing, and I'm sorry.
It's okay, Zach. You're forgiven. You have 50 turkeys, so I'm excited to see what you do with them.
50 turkeys. Oh my gosh.
Okay. You guys ready to start?
Let's do it.
Do it.
All right. Richard Rodgers will lead the Eagles in receiving yards.
1.
2.
3.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to ship.
Dick Rod.
I mean, my Rich Rod brand is way too strong. You know, I tweeted out, I tweeted out the other day the yards per route run stat,
Which you undersold him.
Well, it was, I got it wrong. But anyway, it was just a joke. Like, you know, all right, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Richard Rodgers, lead tight ends and yards per route run as expected. And, you know, people from Washington are like, oh my, you know, they let Richard Rodgers go, and someone sending me like a PFF thing. I'm like, no, this was a joke.
You misunderstand.
I'm not saying Richard Rodgers is playing great. He's literally, defenses are forgetting about him, and he's standing in the end zone by himself and scoring touchdowns. So please, but now I've got him to be their leading receiver on Monday Night Football. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Okay, anyway, all right, 3 for that. How did this happen? As Depop Sam Lynch reminded me, he's like, you were right, but you said he can't do a single thing at an NFL level. All right, let's
He's
continue.
the third best receiver in football.
He's playing good football.
All right. There are 3 or more different offensive line combinations.
Ooh, good one.
3 or
One.
more. Ooh.
For the Eagles.
3 or more. Yeah, for the Eagles.
2.
I'll
3.
take it.
Pretty sure there were 6 last game. I think
Oh
I
my
saw
God.
it on Twitter.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I was watching the
Oh.
film of the last drive, because I think I was sort of checked out at that time. I'm like, who is playing offensive line, and what are these numbers
Yeah.
I'm seeing out there? What are we at?
4.
I'll do a 5.
6.
Oh, O-line
Finally
maestro over here.
pulling out
Flexing the
wallet.
50. Who's on the $50 bill?
So all it takes is for 2 guys to get hurt, basically.
Yeah,
Right.
and like one
Or one guy to get benched and one
kind
guy
of
to get hurt.
guaranteed.
Marissa,
And-
unbelievable. How did you know there were 6 last week?
I saw it on Twitter.
She's an astute observer of the game.
Yeah.
He knows
Somebody,
O-line
I saw something on
combinations.
Twitter. It was like actually a
That's right.
very
yeah.
creative tweet, and it had all the names listed.
Oh.
It was,
Marissa knows.
I don't know how you had that many characters, but yeah, whoever
No,
tweeted
Marissa
that.
studies reserve offensive line.
Yeah.
She's on top of it.
If
The
we
guru.
would've tweeted
Yeah.
that, we could have got some good engagement.
Mm.
Yeah.
Someone out there stealing our, all right. Anyway,
So,
All right.
so I win that one at 6.
You've got 6?
I'm not going
Going
over
once,
six.
All right.
going twice, sold to Zach.
Hey, big spender.
That's
Okay.
the most expensive thing Zach's ever bought.
Oh,
So Zach is down to
In this
44.
game.
Super, yeah, in this game. Yeah, it's not a general thing. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, but it's,
that would have been like a
it's
weird,
not, it's not far off. Yeah.
that would have been a real jab.
Yeah.
What the hell, Bo? Getting personal. All right.
Okay. DK Metcalf will have a touchdown of 40 plus yards.
1.
2.
3.
4.
Going
5.
on. 6. Anyone 6?
6.
I have 44 turkeys left.
Ooh, you do.
6. 7.
Oh.
I'll let you throw that weight around.
Going once, twice, sold to Zach.
Okay.
Zach's got 2 of the first 3. Okay.
All right.
I have a certain amount of turkeys I want to come out of tonight with.
44
You have
minus
30. You have
7.
37 left, Zach.
Yes.
37. Yep, that's what I was going for.
You have a certain amount of turkeys you want to come out with, or a certain amount of wins you want to come out with.
Well, turkeys, but ideally I can get a
Okay.
good number of wins and still come out with this number of turkeys.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't want to blow your whole stack, is what you're saying.
Never. No.
Jalen
Turkey
Hurts.
saved is turkey earned.
That's not true.
All right, you two.
Okay. These were the 2 that were very similar.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts is on the field for the Eagles' final offensive snap of the game, or Carson Wentz does not finish the game.
Oh yeah, so that's basically the same. Although
Yeah.
let's do the first one because it includes the interesting possibility of them both being on the field for the last play of the game.
Okay.
Jalen
Okay.
Hurts.
Well,
goes-
just so we.
So
Yeah.
again, Jalen Hurts is on the field for the Eagles' final offensive snap of the game.
1,
2,
3.
4,
5.
6.
Ooh.
Do I hear 7? Going once.
Ooh, I'll go 7.
Wow.
No, that's
8.
our
Anyone?
next
8.
that's our next gift right there.
No.
All right. Chill. No.
Okay.
No.
Sold to Bo for 7.
How many are in, are we?
That's 4, so 8 left.
8 left. Okay.
So Bo has.
I've got 17. Shield's got 22. Zach's got 37.
Yep. Okay. Russell Wilson has more rushing yards than any Eagles player.
1.
2.
Going once.
3. I'm not gonna let you get it for 2. I
Yeah,
mean,
she's too cheap.
yeah. Go 3.
4. Going once.
It's not
Going
worth it.
twice. Sold to Shield.
You know what's interesting? If you look up Miles Sanders' numbers compared to Nick Chubb is a very interesting exercise. Stacks up very favorably.
They're
You know what?
comparable?
You know what's interesting is, you know how Next Gen Stats has the percentage of runs with an 8-man box. Sanders has the second lowest percentage in the league, so he is getting favorable run looks.
You know what? I will say I feel like that is a stat
don't
that
love
is
that?
getting misused across.
Okay.
Well, here's the deal. Like a team like the Browns, right? I mean, if they're playing with multiple tight ends or a fullback, I mean, if you're playing heavy
Yeah,
sets, there's going to
that's
be
true.
more people in the box, and so I feel like we just rattle off those numbers, and it doesn't
That's
really tell me much. That's all.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. The Eagles never have a lead in the game.
1.
Wait, so I got that Russell Wilson one, right?
You
Yep.
did, yes.
So you
For
have
how
9
much?
for 3. So you
For
have
3.
19
You've got
left.
19 left.
19. Okay.
2,
3,
Never have a lead in the game.
4,
5,
6.
7.
Oh my gosh. I
8.
think I know who you guys are picking for the prediction.
How many more are there after this? 3?
6.
6?
Did they have a lead in the Browns game?
No.
No.
Good point.
I'll go 8.
That they had a lead this year.
I'll go 9.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh. No, if you haven't seen the Pete Carroll clips, he doesn't believe there's anything to this. Get off to a hot start. I mean, you'll see him in the locker room. He yells, "Can you win a game in the first quarter?" Everybody yells no. Then he says second quarter. Then third quarter, everyone yells no. And he says, "Can you win a game in the fourth quarter?" And then everyone goes crazy. So he doesn't believe in this. You got to get off to a quick start, hold the lead. He kind of feels like keep it close. Fourth quarter, we'll win then.
Shield says that, and then he throws out a 10. Spot,
And yeah,
right?
11. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You're at 9, Bo?
I am at 9, yes.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Which would make him only have 8 turkeys left if he used 9 for this.
Yeah, I'm staying out of that one.
I got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like that's a good one.
Flexy. All right. Pat yourself on the back there, big fella.
Okay. Jalen Hurts plays more than 10 snaps.
1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
10 snaps, huh?
Going once.
7.
8.
Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. That's all you.
Okay.
All
Right.
right. Jalen Hurts plays more than 10 snaps. Goes to Zach for 8.
You've got 29 left, Zach.
Okay.
29 for Zach, 19 for Shield, 8 for me, and 5 questions left.
5 questions. Okay.
I guess they're not really questions, but
KJ Wright will blow up an Eagles screen pass, either force an incomplete or tackle the ball carrier at or behind the line of scrimmage.
Is this your Sheila?
Yeah. I've never seen a linebacker. I will, full disclosure, I've never seen a better linebacker against screens. He sniffs them out every game, and I haven't seen a team worse at screens right now than the Eagles. So
29.
Yeah. I'll go 3 on that bad boy.
4.
Might be setting you up. He might stink at screens.
Little razzle dazzle.
You want a top 4?
5.
Zach?
29 left. There's 4 questions after this.
We only threw. Oh yeah, there's 4 after this.
Yeah. You can have it.
Okay.
What'd you get it for? 5?
5.
Okay.
Now that one, obviously, there are ones that will be obvious. If it's on the fence, Marissa is the
arbiter?
decider. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
She sounded very excited about that.
She's like, F you.
No, I'm like, note to self. Make sure I'm watching KJ Wright on.
She's like, I'm on my 5th show. It's Thanksgiving Eve. And now I got
still have to edit this.
And now I got to see if KJ Wright's going to blow up a screen pass on Monday night.
She's bringing down the offensive lineman, and then all of a sudden now she has to watch the screen.
I'm counting combinations.
I got to drink my coffee from this bathtub.
Yeah, yes.
There's been a lot of comments in the chat about my mug. I don't have my mug. Well, I really want coffee, but I really don't want to be up all night.
At this hour? Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, no. So I might make a tea, but I haven't made it yet because I had a show before this. So I'm sorry I don't have my mug. I apologize. Okay. DK Metcalf scores exactly 1 touchdown.
1,
2,
3,
4,
5.
6. I started saying it's like a check swing.
I think
6.
Kind of
Yeah, 6.
Going once. Going twice.
I'll throw a 7.
Ooh.
What? You were going to do 7, but you'll do 8?
No, I was actually just going to go right to 8.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, Bo would be knocked out if he gets this.
I got my 3.
Bo gets it.
Okay.
So what do we got left? How many left?
3 left.
3 left.
Yeah. 3
And
left.
I have no idea.
You've got 14 left.
14.
Zach's got 29 left.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. The Eagles win the game.
That was mine.
2.
3.
4.
What's the spread?
5
right now, which is like a 38% chance
you
to
look
win.
at them?
something
All right.
like that.
Yeah. It's not crazy.
5.
Okay. I'm not going to go higher than that.
All right.
I'm not
Zach looks like
crazy.
he's having buyer's remorse.
No, I'm right in line with. I had a number I want to come out with.
Odds wise, that's like better value than a lot of the things.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
38% chance is high.
It might be a little bit less than that, but
Yeah.
Okay. 2 left. Zach is at 24. Sheila's at 14.
Okay.
Okay. DK Metcalf sets a season high in
33%.
Season high in yards. Let's see.
Which,
What's this?
yeah, I should
I
have
can look it
before.
All right, this was a late arrival. My bad.
DK.
I take responsibility for it. Marissa's doing an outstanding job. That was my fault.
All right, let's see. DK Metcalf's season high for receiving yards this year is, 161 against the 49ers. So that's tough to beat.
1,
2,
3,
4. Sheila going 1.
No, I don't want that one.
Ooh, that was a bargain deal.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Sorry, what
now
was that
Jim
one? I missed
Schwartz
it.
said that they don't just need to watch out for Metcalf downfield, but on what they call a zero pass, so a pass that has no yards, and they just basically just give him the ball to run with it.
A zero pass? Is that what he said?
That's what he called. Yeah.
Has anyone ever heard that term before in your life? I have not.
I think I'm using that correctly. Let me.
No, I mean it could. No, I'm thinking it's like a Schwartz Schwartz term that I've never heard of.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that specifically.
I did enjoy in the mic'd up Raiders Chiefs game when Patrick Mahomes was yelling out, "It's cover zero! It's cover zero!" right before the snap. Were you watching that?
No,
I was not.
Okay, everyone's
we're not all national guys.
We were doing the podcast.
Okay, I suggest you go watch that game. You could hear everything that the quarterbacks were saying. It was
here you go.
cool.
You have to defend every inch of the field with a guy like that. They can just throw a zero hitch to him. Zero meaning it's a 0-yard route, and just get him the ball, and he's hard to handle.
Beat a zero hitch with a zero blitz. Am I right?
A lot of zeros.
Like what was the final on that one?
It was DK Metcalf sets the season high in yards.
And Zach got it?
Yep,
for three. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Zach's down to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And
Zach's got a season high in turkeys. He's got 5 bids.
Yeah.
Could have 6.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Russell Wilson has 2 or more 40+ yard completions.
Ooh, I should not have bid so much on the Metcalf one because that could have gone in.
How are you to know?
40 yards is a lot, though.
40.
I will say. And is this? There's one more after this?
No, this is the last one.
Oh, this is the last one.
And it's 2 or more.
Okay. I will start it at 3.
4.
5.
You can have it.
All right.
All right.
Shill, you're carrying over a lot too.
You're carrying over 9. Zach will carry over 21. To recap, Zach has 5 irons in the fire. At least 3 different offensive line combinations. A completion of 40 yards or more to DK Metcalf. Jalen Hurts has at least 10 snaps. The Eagles win. And DK Metcalf has a season high. So Zach will be rooting for DK Metcalf in this game. Shield has Dick Rod leads the Eagles in receiving, his guy. Russell Wilson has more rushing yards than any Eagle. KJ Wright blows up a screen. And Russell Wilson has at least 2 40-yard completions. And I have only 3. I have Jalen Hurts is on the field for the last Eagles play of the game, Eagles offensive play of the game. Seattle leads the Eagles never lead, and DK Metcalf scores exactly 1 touchdown. So that one could get sniped for me if he scores a late second touchdown. So there you go. All right. It's time for the Crystal Bald Eagle. A long way to go until next Monday, 5 days away. We don't even know what the players are going to be. It sounds like Zach Ertz will probably be back. Maybe they get Jannard Avery back, which I know will be important for Shield. Shield, you haven't even done your. This is live for Shield. He hasn't even published his picks for this bad boy yet.
Well, I know, Shield. I was looking for them.
I turned them in. Okay. I turned them in.
But it's not up yet.
No, it'll be up in the morning, I think.
We make picks on our Jets podcast, and I always forget to do it ahead of time. And right before the show starts, I always go find your pick.
That's okay. No one's watching that show anymore.
Marissa, we should include you in the Eagles picks.
And I'm just saying, I basically am picking what Shield's picking. So my pick on you probably be the same.
That's a compliment if I put
yeah. That wouldn't be a good strategy for Eagles games, but
so yeah, I had to look at some other picks because yours weren't up yet. So
shoot.
Yeah, well, I
should have turned them in early.
I was talking to my brother the other night, just about my brother Alex about a college football game that I was picking, and he said he's like, yeah, Shield's great with his picks, man.
Berm, my man.
He was real
my favorite Berman brother. Yeah. I've always said. All right, you want me to go first? I mean, really, I can't. I think
come on.
The reasoning for an Eagles win is that that the Seahawks get conservative, that they sort of play in the style that Pete Carroll at his core wants to play in, and that they're running the ball. And, the Eagles defense has not played poorly against Russell Wilson. If I don't think the Seahawks have not scored, I think, over 26 points, I want to say, against the Eagles, which, it's a arbitrary number, but it's not like they're putting up 35 every time they face them. So the reasoning for picking the Eagles would be that the Seahawks get conservative and just like something weird happens, because we all look at that line and say 5 points, Eagles a 38% chance to win. This sounds insane. They stink. They
33,
can't.
just
33. I think I said 38 before.
I did. I tried to correct it.
Sorry. All right, 33. Well, that's still a lot. I mean, you wouldn't say they have a 33% chance to win, right?
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. So it is higher than one would expect, but I'm not going to pick them. I mean, I don't know how ugly it will get, because I could see a scenario where the Seahawks come out running on first and second down, trying to pound the ball up the middle, and Jim Schwartz likes that, and they stop that. But eventually, they're going to hit on some big plays. Eagles have shown me nothing to suggest that they have anything going offensively, creatively, or that they can get out of the funk they're in. They currently rank, let me ask you this. I know you don't want any more questions. It's time to sign off, but
I'm happy to stay here all night.
They currently rank 30th in DVOA. Football Outsiders has had 30th in offensive DVOA. Football Outsiders has data going back to 1985. How many years do you think they've ranked 30th or worse in offensive DVOA in that period?
Since 85?
Yeah, that's as far back as
two previous times.
2 previous times.
Well, so for a lot of those years, or not a lot of those years, but like 10 of those years, there were fewer than 30 teams.
Yeah, so that's a good. Are you saying 30th or just?
I'm glad I didn't tweet this out. See, that would have been bad.
So
you're right.
Because in 90, so is it 0?
Yeah, the answer is 0.
Yeah, because I remember looking the other day when I was answering the question about the worst season for an Eagles fan, because 98 they were, I think, second or third worst in the league, but yeah, they were only 30.
Mark Brunell, Kerry Collins. All right, I'll have to. What do the kids say? Workshop. I'll have to workshop that bad boy.
If you want to really go viral and not get yelled at, you gotta at least. You should send all your tweets to Zach for fact checking.
you think if I do that and then mix in some of those O-line combos, I'll be like double my follower count?
I don't know about double, but yeah.
Anyway, the point is their offense is like as bad as it's been league wide potentially in the last 35
it's very
years.
Bad.
So I will go Seahawks 27, Eagles 14.
Okay. Zach, you can close it if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Eagles have little chance in this game. I think they're a bad team playing a good team. I think the Seahawks defense is getting better. I think, we're embroiled in this all of a sudden quarterback controversy that is probably not going away anytime soon. I think they are unable to stop the Seahawks offense. I think Shield is trying to suppress a giggle or something.
Well, there were a couple. We had a good comment, which was someone said Zach talking to his brother, Big Flex, which I thought was good. And then we had maybe the weirdest comment in YouTube history. Is it weird to imagine Bo with Marissa's hair? that guy's been having a few cocktails.
Yeah, that guy's been playing the drinking game.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
That does remind me, just a reminder to our listeners.
Reminds you of what here?
Not that part. Something he said before that. The Birds with Friends T Public store, the merchandise store, up and running, looking good. A bizarre amount of the pyramid scheme shirts have been sold, and we've got the logo shirts, a couple different varieties up there. And I believe there's a good sale now, but if you wait until Friday, Black Friday, I think there's going to be maybe an even better sale. So all kinds of good stuff you can get, not just T-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all good stuff. So check that out. And then Sheila, are you going to be doing a sandwich tonight?
Oh yeah, shoot, forgot. Marissa, just give me a number. Like do like 1 to 50, and I'll look it up after, and I'll send it to you. We can announce it later.
Okay. Should I tell you now?
Yeah.
I'm 26, so 26.
26.
Oh, that is a big
Oh,
flex.
huge flex.
That is the biggest flex we've ever heard on the show.
Well, I did my
I'm
favorite
26,
number.
no big
I
deal.
did my
Jeez.
birthday.
All right.
I don't know what other numbers to pick.
Talk about rubbing it in. Unbelievable.
Bowen, great job getting that t-shirt promo in an hour, 45 minutes into the pod.
Seriously.
Great job.
At least I got it in.
I mean, the charity that we're giving to.
But I
be
would
very
say there
happy.
is an overlap of the people who would listen this far in and the people who would also buy a piece of merchandise. That seems like the same type of person. I'm taking Seahawks 34-17.
Okay, so the over-under here was 50, which I thought was a high number given the Eagles' offense, right?
Over under 50. Yeah, I guess they're thinking the Seahawks defense stinks.
Wow, and I put it at 51.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, I think what you guys said is accurate. Until the Eagles show us any evidence that they're worthy of being picked, it's hard to pick them. They're not a good football team right now. They're not particularly well coached. Their quarterback's not playing well. And the Seahawks were my Super Bowl pick from the NFC. Yeah, from the NFC. So I like the Seahawks team. And they are getting healthier. They play well against the Eagles. I have the Seahawks winning this game and covering. I have it 30-21.
All right.
There you go. All
well,
right.
I guess that'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends. We will talk to you late Monday night, Tuesday morning. Sheila, will you be joining us?
I don't know.
It's a Monday night game. You got nothing else.
Very late. What do you mean I have nothing else?
I
I
mean,
got a lot of work to do.
Of course, you've got a lot of work to do.
I'm churning out content here.
But we can do, the early one. It's the only game you're going to be watching.
We'll see. That one might have to be like game dependent. If it's a game worth talking about,
the listeners, if Shield deems you worthy of of his time.
Well,
Shield,
that's
Bo and I
unlikely.
were messaging with Pete earlier, and
Okay, Flexi.
just planning our content.
Yeah.
And we said I was like, I was thinking of a Wentz headline for this one particular story, and I was like, but the Wentz stories really aren't gaining much traction right now. And Pete's like, yeah, Shield took it all from you guys.
Yeah, he throws in a big that bad boy's about to leave the yard, so he's flexing for you to us.
Listen, we go back a ways. I had hair. I wasn't married. It was a long time ago. I've known Pete for a long time, so thank you, Pete.
Yeah, so I thought you'd appreciate that.
You just painted a picture that I'd like to see of like Dazed and Confused times, early 80s, late 70s, Shield and big hair just strutting around the town looking for girls. So, you and Pistol Pete.
That was not what was happening.
We're keeping Marissa up here, right?
Let's go.
It's her Thanksgiving
Okay.
Eve. Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll
She's
do
got
it.
8 podcasts today that she produced. Yeah.
For this episode of Birds with Friends. We will talk to you after the Monday Night Football game. So for Marissa and Sheil and Zach, I'm Bo. Thanks for listening. And as always, we are very, very thankful for you, the listeners.